That's good. And I
Yeah,
probably need to go back to like meeting people that are local to do
yeah,
coffees like that. But I've
yeah.
been working remote. And so it's just like we're
So
here doing virtual
you
coffees.
deliver it to them now by DoorDash or by or you
So
just
for
a
so
terminology.
honestly, so we did that a lot when we did customer discovery because then we're actually asking questions about,
Mm-hmm.
how we're going to
Mm-hmm.
develop our product, right? Or like getting some ideas. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's a deeper coffee. And so let me send you something for your time. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, normally you can just go to Starbucks and do like a electronic gift card and just
Okay.
email it to them and they're good to go.
Fantastic. That's $1 million idea. Somebody just put it, crystallize it for us. For those of the story warriors and story weavers out there who believe in the power of their story, that is $1 million idea. You just share with us. Those who have ears, listen. Those who don't have ears, good luck to you. How many people you know? How many people you know in the whole wide world that have worked for the three big names in IT, in technology? In today's episode of the Story Warrior podcast, you get to listen to one big brain, not just brains. She got the brain, she got the beauty, she got all that it takes to work for some of the big names in IT. But more than that, she's doing a whole lot more in our community and helping people who may not always have opportunities to have opportunities and have a chair at the table to express themselves and to help organizations to continue to lead in the 21st century. I'm talking about Madame Antoinette Adefela joining us this afternoon somewhere in Texas. I don't know if it's in Grapevine. I don't know if it's in Novine. I don't know if it's in San Antonio. Madame Antoinette, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Where are you joining us from?
Thank you for having me. I am joining from Houston.
Houston, amazing. Big city, big city. Are you a big city girl?
I don't know. Maybe so. I think so. I'm definitely not a country girl.
Okay,
Just a
okay.
country.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to hear you were not very specific about that. But if you're joining this virtual fireside for the first time, my name is Gideon Fomukwai Fomukwai. I tend to go by the moniker Story Warrior because I help business people to fight business fires by using the most interesting, the most exciting, the most uplifting weapon in the world. Not a weapon that kills anyone, but a weapon that touches people's hearts and opens their minds to learn. I'm talking about story. We want to share someone's story that would uplift you, would guide you to find a better purpose for yourself in life. And that person we are fortunate to find today is Madame Adefela. As you say, you're in Houston. Let's do first a weather check. How's the weather today? Tell me it's snowing.
No, it's cold again. Cold and rainy today. But
All right.
Houston, it changes often.
Well, I'm in Dallas, so don't tell me it's cold. How much colder can it be? I'm in Dallas. Well,
No,
obviously colder than you by maybe five
yeah,
degrees.
yeah, I think you all are colder.
Oh yes, we're a little bit colder, but I want us to get to something that can help our viewers. Some of them are in Asia, some are in Africa, some in Middle East, some in America. I call them story warriors, and I'm inviting all the story warriors to pull your chairs closer so you can learn from this phenomenal lady. You are in the world of technology, in learning and development. You are an L&D strategist. Tell us, what does someone in L&D, learning and development, what do you do? What kind of widgets or gadgets do you make on a daily basis? Are you coding? What do you do?
No, so in L&D, as a learning strategist or instructional designer, e-learning developer, the focus is really hello.
Hello.
Wait a minute.
I finally made it.
Did you bring in your bodyguard so that he can protect you from any fires in here? I'm a former fire guy, so you don't have to bring in your firefighter. But I'm happy to bring to welcome to the stage Mr. Kunle Adefela,
Yep.
who of
Thank you
course
for having
his
me.
amazing wife is already with us. You were answering a question, madam. So
Yes.
maybe we go back to the question, then we can formally recognize your husband.
All right. And so in L&D, as an instructional designer, e-learning developer, learning strategist, you're really looking at the bigger picture on how you can support the organization goals, support the learners in different departments, and really you're reaching their learning KPIs, which is either how to perform better in their job, how to become a better salesperson, a better communicator, like all the things that will eventually lead up to the organization helping them grow and their revenue or whatever leading goal that they have. But yeah, we do everything from working with different departments within. If they have just a concept and an idea on what they need to do, like if they want to train their managers and they just have a concept, we will go in, interview the different stakeholders who will be a part of that project, who are either the product managers, marketing managers, who will have the information that we can gather, and then take that content and structure it. And so we will structure that into a learning experience that will normally include, like if you're going through like a blending learning approach, something that's going to include online learning or animated videos or coaching opportunities, or just it just depends on what that learning strategy is going to be. And so you do a lot of the needs analysis, trying to identify what the gap is, and then create a learning program that's going to fit that need.
Very interesting. 1 second.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, madam, you might be with a customer who pulls a little tiny piece of paper. You can scribble some notes on it. You take those notes and you develop them into a highly engaging program that can be used in training people to mold the culture for success. Is that what you're saying?
That is close, but I need a little bit more notes.
Okay.
If you start with that.
Okay. All right. So you go with something more like this. Not so much like this. Okay. All right. I think I'm beginning to get it. I'm beginning to get it. And yes, I studied educational leadership in school, so I'm familiar with that. But for some of our viewers, they may be looking at a career in that field. I understand you and your husband, Mr. Kunle Adefela, you work together. So are you both coders? Are you both engineers, architects that work together in bringing these concepts, these ideas to life? Have you both worked together? Mr. Adefela, feel free to chime in whenever you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a software engineer by trade, and my background studying computer science and software engineering. So I come in the back end, as far as writing the code and also, pretty much managing whatever teams of developers are going to build the applications and, help the actual programs come to life. But he is involved in, the front end and making sure everything looks wonderful and selling it to the customers and just the whole vision, of, the company and all the programs that are going to be delivered to the customers. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's a perfect marriage. You know what I mean?
I'm more in the background. She's
more in the front.
The front, the leader, her vision.
Yeah.
The wonderful vision, and I'm just there to back her.
Fantastic. And that's why you came as the bodyguard. Initially I thought you were the hardware, but from what you're saying, You're playing the role of the software, and she's playing the role of the hardware. She's the front of the business. If the front of the business is not good, if the back of the business is not good, the front of the business is not obviously going to look good. So you both really complement each other so well. So I want to go back to Madame. You have worked with some of the biggest names in technology. Do you want to drop some names? You want me to drop some names? I sense that you work for big names such as the Googles of the world, the Yahoos of the world, the Apples of the world, the Facebooks of the world, the Meta. Am I wrong or right?
Right. Kind of.
Okay.
Most of those are right.
Okay. So allow me to sound my vuvuzela here. Whenever somebody does something extraordinary, I like to pull out this African vuvuzela, the modified version, and basically, okay, that is to the amazing accomplishment of African women and all women of African origin and what they do in making the world better. Because I believe if you take all African women and women of African descent out, the world is going to fall apart. The world is going to collapse.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much because I was raised by one, but because I've also observed what they do in the world. So tell me, what was the experience working like for big tech? Be honest, be real. If it's cool, let us all start stomping there. If it was a little bit, give us your own perspective.
Yeah, so I think it's oddly that it is the beginning of the year because my start of working with big tech is putting it on my vision board. And so I normally would do this at the beginning of the year too and work on my goals. And so 1 year I had the name of the company on my vision board. And so I would see that every day. I'm working for another company, but I would see that every day. And it's like my mind is, I'm working towards, and before you know it, I am planning to move out there.
Wow.
And I'm doing other things, right?
Wow.
And so, to take a step back, at that time I was working in oil and gas in Houston. And I had that vision on my vision board. And oil and gas wasn't good at the time. Things were happening, so I was a part of a layoff. And so
oil and gas, that means big money, big dough, big dollars.
Well, I was a part of a layoff.
Okay.
And at the time I wanted to move. And so it was either California or DC or East Coast. And so I picked California.
Wow.
And still with that goal on the back of my head, I didn't know how I was gonna actually get there, but cool, I'm gonna move to California. And so I was fortunate to stay with my friend Tiffany that was already out there. She was in Paso Robles. And so I think I stayed with her for a month, driving throughout, renting a car, driving to San Diego, going to San Jose, all throughout the Bay Area, meeting with different recruiters and staffing firms, because that was like my way of thinking, like, how can I get in at a company that I may not know the people that work there, but they have a relationship with large companies. How can I get in? And so working with different staffing firms and recruiting firms. And so I would meet with them, and then I got an opportunity to work with a biotech company in San Diego. And so I was there, and then while I was there, I got an opportunity, a recruiter reached out for the company that was on my vision board in the Bay Area. Yeah, so I took that opportunity. And so working at a tech company, it was my dream, right? And so you have all the things of you're supposed to be around the brightest and the smartest. And,
yes.
You're feeling like it is a Disneyland for adults, but at work.
Okay.
Riding a bike to another meeting in another
Yeah,
building,
campus. Yeah.
eating free food. They would have concerts, like all kinds of stuff, right?
Hmm.
Um, but so as coming in through like the staffing agency, so what I realized that a lot of those tech firms, the majority of the people that work there are contractors and consultants.
Mm.
And so it's a part of that.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it depends on the department.
Mhm.
I was there right after there was something that happened that made
A shake up, like a shake up.
that happened
Okay, okay.
that caused more restrictions for consultants
Hmm.
and contractors. And so that was that wasn't uh it was a different experience. So he wasn't fully a part of the team in a way, you know?
Yeah.
But I still was able to benefit from all the things that the company provided. They had one thing that I really liked is a way to connect with other people throughout the company because the company is large, and
Mhm.
that you can do a lunch with anybody. So you can do a random lunch. So I
Yeah.
would randomly meet people all the time that
Mm.
were developers and like all different departments, right?
Wow.
And so that was great.
Mhm.
And meeting new friends and just I don't know.
Hmm.
I love that part, but yeah, it was definitely an experience that I'm grateful that I had. but but
But it wasn't all roses. Is that what you're trying to say? I see but so it wasn't all roses. Okay.
that's in any job though, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
so
fair enough.
That's right.
in any job, and as in just being in training and learning development, a lot of times those groups are not diverse. And
Yes.
so they're not diverse, and then they're normally super small. And so the
Mm.
teams are small. That means that's that extra pressure of you're doing a lot all
I
the
see.
time, and you're on
Wow.
this high impact, high pressured role of need to complete
Yep.
so many things. um, yeah. So no, it wasn't roses all the time, but that is with anything, I guess.
Okay. I think that's a very fair
Yeah.
response, a very balanced one. And I
Mhm.
applaud that because
Yeah.
if you told me that there's a place where you can have free food at work, I'm like, what is that? I've heard about it. I've never had, no one has ever come looking for me. I mean, they came looking for you. That you could meet with random people, random lunches. I've heard about that. I've not seen anywhere else that they practice that. So kudos to them. But as you say, sometimes if you're working through a third party, maybe you're in, but you don't completely feel in. Do you think that these big name organizations, are we overblowing the prestige for working for them, or is it that are we over glorifying it, or you think that there's enough reason to glorify them?
Mhm. Um, I would say that the benefits that they provide, um, so either full-time or contractor, they do offer a lot of benefits, especially
Mhm.
as a full-time
Mhm.
employee. And so I would say for someone that can get in as a full-time employee and take advantage of having stock in the company
Yeah.
at a discounted rate and all
Yeah.
those amazing benefits,
Mhm.
definitely.
Okay.
Like
Okay. Cool.
not
It's good
yeah,
to know.
definitely go
Right.
for that. And then just having that experience is always good because you're learning so much and you can do a lot within a
Oh
short
yeah.
amount of time or whatever amount of time that you're there.
Okay.
Um, no, I but you can do so much at a startup. And so
Okay.
if you're at a smaller startup,
Mhm.
um, yeah, it really depends on what your goals are you want to do in your life. Yeah.
Mm. Very interesting.
Yeah. And
That go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead, Mr. Adefla.
I mean, and I think the other thing that I think you've noticed from getting your foot in to one big tech company always or makes it easier to hop to the next because they're constantly
Mhm.
Yes.
poaching from each other, trying to recruit from each other.
So, yep.
They respect, you know,
Yeah.
other that you came from this company, and
Yes.
so
Yeah,
it seems
no,
like
that's
once you get that leg in, also being able to move to another
Yes.
big tech or anywhere else
Okay.
after that.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Another
have that on your resume.
yeah,
Since you have it on your resume, man, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. But I was gonna ask, I hope I'm not cutting you short. For someone who is watching, who is excited, maybe this is January, they got something on their vision board, they want to go to big tech. What are some of the steps that we encourage them to take other than or beyond the vision board? I know you mentioned you had to go to California. You started to, literally go audition or go for interviews. What are some of the steps? If you could summarize some of them, maybe into three main steps that somebody can take to say, I want to work with Apple, I want to work with Google, I want to work with Facebook, for example.
I think right now there's so many different opportunities that get you in the door with different companies now, like going to like Afrotech or all these different type of like tech communities for Black and brown people. But I will say you always have to be prepared. I think at the very beginning, so I've been working forever, and I've always had a portfolio, and I always try to have a portfolio that was different than others. And so I always had a website that can showcase projects or like sample projects, give them case studies that showcase my process, how I work. And so in all the interviews that I've ever had, I had to showcase like my work, my previous work. And so having that is important. When I was a manager, a lot of times people didn't have that. And so you have to do a project for those interviews. And then even when I joined teams, for some reason, I was the only one that either had a website with all my work. And so I think that helped as well. And just having a well-rounded, I think people talk about that a lot, having a well-rounded resume, but being involved in different organizations. So there, for training and development, there is Association of Talent and Development, ATD. There's other associations that you can be involved in. And just being a part of those, in Houston, I was in a few organizations and on board there. And so just being involved, but really going out there. A lot of people may not want to move, but sometimes sometimes these companies are not all remote. They want you to be in the office.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you are open, I think being in the Bay Area put me in the space where there were not that many people that were in the area. And so, yes, they can have people remote, but a lot of times my teams, we were all in the office. And so if you're willing to move to where that company is, that probably adds on to that. But what I wanted to add on a little earlier, there's the pros and cons of being in tech, right? And you can be in this fast-paced, stressful environment, or you can decide, to be in a space that, like Kool-Aid took a route. He worked at great companies, but his space has been less stressful, and he still got the experience and still worked for great teams. But he probably have less gray hair.
Okay.
So yeah, you just have to decide on what kind of life, how much stress you can manage.
You can handle. Thank you.
And then what kind of life you want to live,
Yep.
But a balanced life that at 5 o'clock you're okay and you can just relax, or like
and go back home
work on the weekend or work at night. What do you.
Interesting. As you were speaking, I was thinking about there's something they call the golden egg. You can squeeze it, and they say sometimes in some organizations they squeeze the golden egg until it is broken. So it feels like maybe big tech can squeeze every good juice out of you. And I would imagine that would take a toll on your hobby who is also in tech, but as you say, he doesn't necessarily always go out to work for big tech. So, Brother Kunle, tell me, in your opinion, watching your wife, is she happier working for big tech, or is she often happier when she's working for not so much the big tech, but still just doing what she likes to do? From your experience on the
Yeah.
home front.
Yeah, absolutely. Like she went over, there are a lot of benefits of working for big tech. You know, of course, that big paycheck comes with the big tech.
Big responsibilities.
Yeah.
Fortunately, she got no gray hair, so maybe
Yeah.
they tried hard, but they did not succeed. So
Oh,
good.
there is Dido.
No, we're not talking about
Yeah.
that tonight. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, I definitely see the difference. Like you said, it's a fast paced, high pressure, you know, you have to deliver kind of environments, you know, which is great, you know, for your career. And also, and like you said, it depends on how you want to live your life, and you know, how fulfilled you want to be. Seeing her after going out on her own, you know, working for herself, you know, doing all the things that she did for big tech, but you know, by herself, you know, she's definitely been much happier. You know, you know, she has more freedom, you know, take those creative decisions, go in creative directions that, you know, she feels is right, as opposed to being frustrated by, okay, either the restrictions of a manager or, you know, of the organization, you know. And you know, it's been wonderful to watch, you know, she's really been happier, you know. But like you said, it depends on you, where you are in life, and what you want to do.
Okay.
So it's still a great thing to do, work for big tech.
Okay.
Different
Interesting.
people have different experiences of the. Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. I see. I don't want us to just focus on big tech. You know, before big tech came around, you were already there.
Yep.
So I want you to kind of like pat it back a little bit.
Okay.
Before you went into the world of technology, what were you doing, or what did you study at school? And more so, what inspired you to go into IT or information technology? And the reason I ask that is because a lot of people, they are lured into medical related programs, the nursing, the pharmacy, the medicine, and all of that. Why did you choose to go into this field? And take us to a while back before you went into tech. Why did you choose this line of work, which is not necessarily very famous with people of color, and let alone being of the very famous gender, women?
Well, my degrees are actually in marketing, and so my goal was to work at an advertising firm one day. I wanted to work.
Madison Square.
Yeah, that was the.
Wow.
And so I was in school. I started working when I was and getting paid at 16, and so in college, when I got my bachelor's, it was the recession time. So around 2008 to 2009. I was already working at a bank. I think I was working at a bank at that time overnight. And they had two people in the marketing department. They were not looking to expand. I reached out to them. I already had a portfolio because I was always learning how to use different, like Adobe, designing flyers for people, all kinds of stuff. And so I had a portfolio even when I was in school. Even though I think in marketing, you don't really, you need it as a graphic designer for sure.
Okay. And you know the power of USP, right? Unique selling proposition. So from what I'm hearing, you've always leveraged your unique voice and your unique style, which is have a portfolio so that you showcase your work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I really got that from just working at a younger age. When I was in college, I worked for this media company, and they had like designers that I just saw, like they always had their work. They always either pitch for different projects, and so they
Yeah.
have to show their work. And so,
Mm.
so I showed my work whenever I went to different things. And
Mm.
so, um, marketing department didn't work out for me. So, and I was here, I was in Houston, and so what can I do? I looked within the company to see if there are other roles that I can use my skill set and leverage my existing skill set. And so in learning development, they had a role that they were also looking for someone to use Adobe and design e-learning. So I'm like, okay. I went for that role.
I can do that.
They gave me the opportunity, and they took a step, and I just been in the learning development ever since. And so there, I just continue to learn more about it, learn about blending learning programs, how UX. I'm learning, constantly learning to be better at what I do. So yeah.
Very, very interesting, because you always see 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of us. You got your portfolio when the rest of us just go in and think, oh, look good. No, we're not looking for Mr. Look Good. We're looking for someone who can solve a problem for us.
Yeah.
So you go in there with your portfolio, you say, this is a problem I can solve. You got your vision board right by the side. Some of us don't even have a vision board. We don't even know what's a vision. And some people, they say they're lost, not for lack of knowledge, but for lack of vision. So you have that. And so I want to ask, what is it that maybe I should go to your husband and ask Mr. Adefele, what is it that you've seen about your wife, the way that she approaches her work, that separates her from other people? Because obviously for her to have been successful to get into all the big three, it's something exceptional.
Yeah.
What's her approach, and why is it different from others?
Yep. Yeah, it's easy to answer. She's very passionate, very driven, and also always very prepared. Like that, she always has a to-do list, so a lot of us could borrow, I'll take care of what comes at work. There are different ways to go about things, in life, so she always plans out her day, possibly even the week, ahead. I'm sure maybe a month ahead. But I
feel the pain. I got a list too.
Yeah.
But I don't get a lot of it checked out. So she's a perfect planner and perfect doer. I'm not the best doer. So I feel the burn. Thank you. I feel the pain. But that's cool. I'm taking notes too, because just by being part of this conversation, I'm learning. So be very prepared. Plan it out. All right. Keep going, sir.
Yeah. And then, she's also people person and excited to get to know people, connect with people, and she's passionate, wanting to connect with people and help people. So
okay,
you're so kind.
Wanting to be helpful. But madam, if I may come back to you, if you like helping people so much, why don't you become a nurse? Why don't you become a doctor? Help people who are in pain. You're helping people make money, and you collect some of their money. Tell us, why did you choose technology?
I don't know. I think oddly, even though my background, my education was in marketing, with marketing, I see that as a way of being creative, working towards a goal, being able to design and like support people in that way. But with learning and development, I pull that in. And so like my e-learning courses, like I want that to be an experience. I want that to help people. You can help people in so many ways. Needles and blood is not my thing. And so definitely
can't. Talking to a former fire captain who could rescue, could do everything, but I did not want to attend a class talking about poking people. And I've never poked anybody. I'm like, thank God I was in command and control, so I could direct people on what to do, but I don't want to poke. Even until now, I don't. My wife has had me to poke her sometime. I'm like, no, not me. Give it to somebody else to poke. I'm
See?
begging you. I'm happy
Yeah.
to pay somebody else to book you, but I can't book you.
Yeah.
So
Mm-mm.
you
Can't do
needles
it.
were not your thing, and so you
No.
said tech you're my thing, even though you know fully well that the demographics in tech don't necessarily color more or less.
Well, you know what? I would say even in corporate, um, I I don't. It was when I was at the oil and gas company. I was on a team with was nothing but black and brown people because the
Mhm,
manager was black and
mhm,
she hired within the community. But
mhm.
outside of that, I have not been in like it hasn't been diverse. And so I always say that's across the board.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you kind of in that space of you do feel lonely.
Mhm.
You kind of by yourself, but
Yeah.
you have a community. Like Cooley's on a team, and he's the only black person on that team.
Wow.
Um, but he has a supportive team,
Mhm.
and they're kind of like a little family, even though And so you just have to find the right people, the right culture. If you don't
Yes.
have it at work, you got to find it outside. And so,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. I have to agree. Since from the time I left home, I left Cameroon. I went to work briefly in South Africa. Then I went to Singapore. I spent a better part of maybe 17 years or 18, 19, 20 years never working in any place where there are more than one or two people that look like me. So I'm totally comfortable. You can throw
Yeah.
me anywhere.
Mhm.
I will find my own community. It's can I wish for it to be a little bit different sometimes? Throw me something a little dark there. No, I wish for it to be different, but I've always learned to enjoy myself, do my job, and I can't control everything. And I will have to admit, even if you work in a place where everyone looks like you, it's not always ideal. So being willing to be adaptable to go wherever your job takes you and excel regardless, I think it's a core principle that we can all celebrate. And I really applaud that about what you're saying. But tell me something about going from big name organizations to starting your own organization, your own company with your husband, EXP Learning. What's the full name? It looks like it has to do with experiential learning, which is one area that I'm so passionate about. I love it. I want to embed into everything that I do a little bit of experiential. Tell us about your
That's
company
awesome.
and why you founded that.
Yeah. So, my last role, I was training manager at a tech consulting firm. Um, and the stress level was a little high. And so,
Okay.
to say the least, that
Okay.
I
Okay.
um just being in spaces where you feel like you can't really say anything, you're gonna be
Mhm.
aggressive or so. Um,
Walking on eggshells.
yeah, and so I kept a lot of stuff inside, and so I didn't express myself. I just kept it in, but I started to feel pain,
Did you
and
throw
so
some of that on your husband?
no, I probably would vent a lot. I'm a vent.
Okay. Did he vent a lot on you, sir?
Yeah.
Oh,
Listening ear.
okay.
In
At least
there.
you got a big shoulder to cry on, so that helps.
Well,
All
that's
right.
all.
So I know you were narrating the pain of working there, and then you had to transition. Tell us how that came together.
Yeah, and so I started feeling sick, and so I was going to the doctor often
Hmm.
because of just oh,
Migraines.
Yes.
it was quite intense, and so I decided to take a break to take care of myself. And so,
Mm,
as a planner, make sure everything was aligned, everything was good, that
mm,
that was possible to do.
mm,
In that break, I started talking to a consulting firm that was looking for somebody to do this project for another tech company, but in their diversity and inclusion department. And so I've
mm.
been talking to them. Um, I left the company, still talking to the consulting firm, and then I went to a business conference where I was just motivated. It's like, let me do this. Let me just. I already had the plans for my business already because
Mhm.
I kind of officially I kind of started in California, but the cost of having a business in California is way higher
Oh,
than in
yeah. Tell
Texas.
me.
And so I was like, no, until I get a client, I'm not gonna do this again. And so
Mm,
I got my LLC and I established my business, and I got that in January. I first left the company in December, got that in January, and started working with that client
mm,
through that consulting firm in February on.
mm,
And
mm.
so um, it was something that I always wanted to do because just from working with different teams, every team was different.
Yeah.
You're either the only instructional designer, e-learning developer on a team,
Mhm.
or you're on a team. I was on a team once that I had an illustrator and an animator. I was like, oh, this is the best.
They
That
set
was
up.
the best thing because a lot of people think instructional designers are also graphic designers and all these
Ah,
other designers.
mm,
No, I think I love design, but I am not an illustrator. I am
okay.
not.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I
Fair
wanted to
enough.
create this space where I have a great diverse team, a team where people can stay in their lanes and focus on their expertise to create
Mm,
the idea learning
mhm,
experience for these
mm,
companies. And what I've also learned as a consultant at these companies, a lot of them have their own businesses.
mhm,
And that way, they either went through supply diversity programs.
mhm.
And so I learned that by just talking to the other consultants that were working there. It's like, oh, so your laptop looks different. You know, like, what's going on here? Like, what?
They seem happier.
Well, they had a lot of freedom and they
There
had
you
more
go.
freedom, you know? And so they were just there to eat because they didn't really
Wow.
have to be there.
I don't mind to eat.
Well, they have more freedom. Like they
Mhm.
just can kind of do. They can work on the projects at a different level, and so um, that's when I started my business. I went through the process of becoming certified as well, and so yeah, I think I had to do it. I don't think I am. Um, I've always wanted to be a business owner. Anyway,
Mm,
as a
mhm.
kid, I always tell Quinn, I know he probably think it's weird, at least 'cause so
But it-
'cause my siblings are older than me. They're 15 years older than me, right? And so I was at the house. I felt like the only child. So I would
Okay.
create businesses with paper. I always create stuff with paper. So I had a restaurant with paper. I had all kinds of stuff with paper.
Okay.
Um,
Paper businesses.
yeah, and so I always wanted to have my own business.
That is
And
real
so
with bricks and mortar.
yeah,
Okay. Not just paper business. Okay. Okay. Cool. I like
yeah,
that.
and so this was just a way of like having that freedom, being able to work with a team that was global, and I think everyone that I work with are amazing at what they do. And so being able to put that together to
Yeah.
create experiences, I
Yeah.
love that. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I think I'm doing what I'm meant to do.
Fantastic. And I think you probably could still get business from some of the big names you work with. Or if not, you have the experience and the support of your husband to go in multiple ways. So first, are you able to get business from some of those other big names you work with or from their subcontractors? And second, maybe your husband's contacts to being a software engineer himself, he might also give you some ideas on places that are very fertile.
Yeah. So yeah, the first client that we got, so the client through that consulting firm, it was Apple. And then once I became a supplier diversity certified as a minority owned enterprise, I was able to work with Facebook again. And yeah, it's opened that door, but would so I started my agency and then recently we started the learning platform. And so that's where Kulin comes in as the CTO of
Mm,
that learning platform. And so he definitely helps out with just managing that team and bringing in some expertise that he saw me struggling.
Mm.
'Cause
I can relate. My wife too started a business, a thriving business, and I saw her struggle. And she's brilliant. She's super brilliant. I mean, so brilliant. She got 2 PhDs. Like for her, it's so easy. But I saw her struggle with the people side, so I stepped in.
Yeah.
But maybe when you wrap up, then I go to Brother Kunle to talk to us about the learning platform and how is it coming together. How is he shoveling snow from the bag and making sure that things stay in place, because that's somewhat what I'm doing with my wife's business. But finish and then he can jump in.
yeah, so he's been able to help with that. And so yeah, that's it. We are making it work.
Amazing. So, Brother Kunle, tell us how is it? Tell us first about it, the learning platform.
Yeah.
How is it easy to work with a spouse, especially if you're looking at it from a traditional family setting? You're the executive branch, and the spouse is the congressional department. And now the reversal is true. The wife is now the executive department, just like I play Congress for my wife. So tell me about that experience, because it is something to behold and it's something to be proud of. And I want to give a big blast to you guys first.
Yeah. So the name of the platform is Guided LXP. So it's a learning experience platform.
Guided LXP. Y'all hear this name?
Yep. So Guided
Story Warriors,
LXP.com.
Story Weavers, hear the name. GuidedLXP.com. Go check it out. Go ahead, Brother Kunle.
Yeah. So it's a software as a service platform that allows companies, organizations, individuals to deliver learning programs and content to whatever audience they're addressing. You know, company could deliver to their employees or to their customers. Like most people that have been in corporate have had to take online learning, you know, and some people that want to augment their education or their skills or knowledge have taken online courses, you know, so all those kinds of learning and combining it in a blended approach where there's coaching, communities, and also able to design a learning journey for whoever the learners are, makes it a more interactive and more engaging experience.
So is it like Udemy?
Oh, it's a step above.
Even better than Udemy. Yeah, there you go. Now we're talking.
Yeah,
Okay.
more.
Because you're talking about community, and I don't know
Yeah.
if Udemy even cares about it or even knows that exists.
Yeah.
So you're talking more like what are some of the equivalents, some of the ones that we've heard about? Drop some names there so that people can start to relate it more.
So we're in the middle. You have Think You Think Teachable on one side, then you have like large corporate LMSs like Cornerstone, Workday on the other side. And so
Mighty, how about Mighty? Is it Mighty?
Mighty Networks. Mighty
Network.
Networks is a little different. I think Mighty Networks may be in the same space as Circle because they focus on like community. But since we're a learning platform, our focus is on learning and making sure that people can track their goals, have those learning communities. Yeah.
I see. But you still have community too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But your community is not so crazy, out of touch, out of reach kind of community. Yours is a little bit more manageable. So is it easy to set up a profile on Guided LXP? If so, tell us, what about some of the prices? Should people be worried? Should people be terrified, petrified? Oh my God, I cannot afford that.
No, you want to go?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. No, it's quite easy. So we provide a lot of support, and we're providing a template that can help you plan out. It's kind of like helping you create your outline. And so you have everything, like the features that you can include for the platform. You're thinking about all that. You're thinking about what you want to name your communities, your images. So once you have that, and you sign up for the platform, we can help you set up one-on-one. And in that process, if you are already prepared, ready to go, it can take about an hour or two to get set up. And that's about it.
Fantastic. How about the pricing? Is that something that they have to apply? Then you get to consult, you're going to think through, should we award this or not award this to them? How about the prices?
Prices, it actually starts at $39 a month. And so that is the first plan, and then it goes up. And so the highest is if you're a corporation, you want something custom, but you want our developers to add a different feature, then that is customized. But yeah, it starts at $39. Mostly people are getting like the $79 plan, which isn't, it's not a lot, but you're getting a lot. And so you're getting your learning communities, you're getting your coaching, you get all the things. So yeah.
Who are the kinds of people you are attracting now, or that are in your mind as you design this? What kind of organizations? And we start wrapping up here because we're almost getting to the top of the hour. Who is your ideal customer for Guided Learning LXP?
Ideally, it is a company that wants to either support their employees or sell a course, but really make an impact in learning. And so they don't want to just put something out there. They want to make sure that they're using a blending learning approach. And so small businesses or startups or medium-sized, mid-sized companies that want to allow for the learners to track their goals so they can have those conversations with them so they can grow. They want to be able to have a gamified experience and give them up. They want to have learning communities so people can do peer learning and learn from each other. They want to offer coaching. And so, so we've been working with staffing firms. What else is on there? Like security companies, event planning companies. There's a PR firm that's selling their course to their clients. They normally have like higher packages, but they offer a lower tier to people that want to still get their services, and so they're able to create their course that way. So it ranges.
Very interesting.
Nonprofits as well.
Nonprofit, there you go. Churches. How about churches?
Yeah, churches, nonprofits, authors,
associations, authors. Okay, now begin to relate, because when you're talking about, I heard only big names. So now I am a small outfit, but with what I'm doing with my wife, we're having increasingly more people join us, and they're looking up to us for training and support and development. So it's something that we clearly would definitely want to take a look. But in the interest of time, I want to just say, I've seen you featured on some big name places. I've seen you on Forbes. I've seen you on NASDAQ. Yep. Is it because you come from a marketing background, or how do you get into all these big names?
You know what? I think so. I mentioned earlier about the organizations that you're with. And so I'm a part of Dreamers and Doers. So Dreamers and Doers, at the beginning, when I started my company, I reached out to a PR firm. And so that was a way to like get in publications, like get out there. But for the average PR firm, sometimes they can range from like 6,000 plus, right?
Exactly.
On that retainer. But Dreamers and Doers, it's probably around 1,000 or so that you pay yearly. And the founders and the people that manage the communities are contributors to all these publications. And so they present different opportunities. If you qualify for this, submit for these opportunities. And so
thank you. That's a good one. But it looks like it's only for ladies.
Unfortunately, it is.
So what about those of us from the other side of the dark side? Well,
only for ladies. But I need to think about some other opportunities that are for men. Sorry. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. Go and drink a cup of coffee or something and chill. Forget about yourself getting your name out there. But you know, this is a fascinating conversation. I think we may have to find another time and just focus on Guided LXP. But in the interest of time, I want to just maybe ask a few short rapid fire questions. Like say two of you go to a party, They're serving some ice cream. What flavor would you pick from the table, Brother Kunle?
Myself, always chocolate.
Okay, you can't go wrong with chocolate. I think
Yeah,
I come from a chocolate producing nation, so I
exactly.
salute that. How about
Yeah.
Antoinette?
I think, I don't know. I love ice cream, so that's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Pistachio.
Pistachio?
Pecan.
Okay, okay. Interesting. Now that our mouth is a little sweetened, if somebody walk up to you and say, "What's your best book that you want to recommend for them to read and be successful in life?" What would you say, Brother Conley?
Well, lately we've been reading The Psychology of Money. So that's
Psychology of Money. I got on my.
yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're still making our way through it, but it is opening our minds to see
So much.
how you treat, money and finances, and how that is what really shapes how we deal with money and our futures. So yeah, I think
Okay.
more about your finances and how to
Okay.
finances.
What would you recommend, Antoinette? Either for the pocket book or for the mind book?
You know what? Going back to the vision board, a book that I was reading is "You Can, You Will" by Joel Osteen. And so
You
in
can,
that,
you will. Okay.
yeah, in there he talks about so many stories where, for example, a guy wanted a airplane company, right? And so he had a small airplane. And so just just making your plan, putting your vision there, and just praying about it. And those doors were open. So he eventually had that. And so that's what I kind of connect to when I think about putting my vision and my goals out there, writing down, making plan. Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, I want to bring one experience here I did not intend to talk about. So, 2012 or 13, I started reading about vision board. I wanted to do a TED talk, being successful in speaking and so on. I put a clear TEDx talk on my table. 2 years later, I was given a selection to do a TEDx talk.
Awesome.
But I shot myself in the foot. I was selected to speak in Singapore, came over here, and just when I started to re-establish my papers and all of that, I got the notice, and the lawyer said, "It's okay, you can go and speak, but you may not be able to come in." So, and since then, when it's not come to fruition yet. But the thing is, I'm not putting it front and center. So what I'm hearing from you now is I need to put it right back front and center here, and hopefully look at it throughout this year, because who knows, if I don't get it this year, maybe I should get it next year. But the other thing too is I said I wanted to speak at Google. Guess what? I've not spoken at Google yet. But the truth too is I've not had a vision board of that. So I need to go create a vision board of speaking at Google, and maybe come to my heroes and heroines like you who know connections, because I went to chat GPT and said, "How do I speak at Google?" He said, "You have to know someone who works at Google or who has worked at Google to introduce you to someone. So I may have to come to you to find someone, and then I have to start working my way up from there." But I say that to indicate that if, like you say, you can, you will, from Joel Osteen, I'm going to look up that. I'm going to make sure I read that, because there are some things that I want to get off my, I want to get into my bucket list, or off my bucket list. Yeah. Last question I have for you is, what 3 suggestions, or 1 suggestion or 2, do you have for someone to be successful as a software engineer, Brother Adefela?
As a software engineer, you definitely need to enjoy solving problems. That's one thing, and also put in the work, learning constantly, and be open and interested in trying new things.
Okay. Wow, that's very deep. How about being successful in business, madam?
Well, that's it. I think he answered for both, because you first do have to identify the problem in business as well. And so we were talking about problems today, and like we always brainstorm on ideas on like how we can create different things. And so just kind of really identify what the problem is that you want to solve, and based on your skill set or the people around you that you have a team for, and do your research, reach out to people. You're not in this world alone. I'm constantly reaching out to people, constantly like just setting up coffees, and yeah, just go for it, plan.
I absolutely agree with you. I once set up a multi six-figure business by just simply buying people coffee. I'm not joking. My business in Singapore was set up on the back of, do you mind? Can we meet for coffee? Then I meet, I listen, and I ask questions. And then, can you recommend me someone? I founded a company, a training company in Singapore that was very successful on the back of coffee. Not even lunch, not even dinner. So you saying that, I could not, I could not be more grateful, because now I know I'm not the only stupid guy. I'm not the only goofy guy. There are other crazies out there. So tell us little bit more about coffee. What is the power of coffee in founding a business?
Well, it's just a simple opener. It's not like you don't have to sip on coffee long, right? It's just like, hey, sometimes I would either send people a Starbucks gift card for coffee, actually. But virtual coffee, everyone I'm talking to is mostly not in Houston. And so it's just 30 minutes of your time of, hey, I really want to get to know you and your business. What do you do? After getting to know them, I'm thinking about, because right now I'm thinking about people that I know that does like TED Talks and all these different things, and like places for you. And so as I'm talking to people, I'm thinking of ideas on how I can support them, because I'm going to talk to somebody else that may need the exact service that you just told me about. And so, it just opens the door.
Brilliant. So when you meet them, you send them a virtual coffee card these days. Is that what you do? Because the virtual piece, or you buy it, they deliver it to them by DoorDasher. I know the old school one that you need to sit down at the Starbucks or at Borders Coffee. That's the one that I mastered. I've not mastered this.
I like that. That's good. And I probably need to go back to like meeting people that are local to do coffees like that. But I've been working remote. And so it's just like,
so you deliver it to them now by DoorDasher or by or you just a terminology.
Honestly, so we did that a lot when we did customer discovery, because then we're actually asking questions about, how we're going to develop our product, right? Or like getting some ideas. And so it's a deeper coffee. And so let me send you something for your time. But yeah, normally you can just go to Starbucks and do like a electronic gift card and just email it to them and they're good to go.
Fantastic. That's $1 million idea. Somebody just crystallize it for us. For those of the story warriors and story weavers out there who believe in the power of their story, that is $1 million idea. You just share with us. Those who have ears, listen. Those who don't have ears, good luck to you. Final question. I promise the final one. You walk into a room. There are four chairs out there for you to sit on. The first chair is standing within a circle. The second chair is standing within a triangle. The third chair is standing within a square. And the fourth chair is standing on top of a squiggly. Now, there's nothing mystical about this. Just which one of these would you be comfortable to go? Is it the circle? Is it a triangle? Is it the square? Or is it the squiggly? Which of these chairs would you be more comfortable sitting on, Brother Kunle?
The square.
The square. Okay. Madam Antoinette, Adefela? Circle? All right. Can I release the results now?
Sure.
Okay. Based on the science of psychogeometrics, don't quote me on this. It's someone's study. The circle, madam, is for people who are very heart-centered. They are people who love harmony. The square are the people who are very careful. No wonder Mr. Adefela is a software engineer. They're very good at planning. They're very good at doing it right. No BS. And the triangle is good for people who are CEO types, a little controlling, a little bit take charge type. And the squiggly is for the creative ones, super creative ones. And so I just wanted to release that behind it. And I want to thank you so much. If I can, if you allow me, I'll get you a Starbucks virtual coffee in appreciation of your time, but more importantly, for the goodwill of just accepting to talk with me, because I am a nobody and I came to you through a friend's referral, and I'm grateful for your time. I'm grateful for the work you're putting out there, because you're shining a light in dark places and someone would benefit from that. I want to thank you
It's
so
an
much.
honor to talk to you. Thank you. Like all the work that you've done, like everything that you're doing in the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you
How
so much.
about we go to a coffee shop when we come to Dallas?
All right. If it's in Dallas, it's on me and Pam. If it's in Houston, it's on us.
It's on us.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, deal.
Thank you so much. I don't want to abuse your time. Have a great evening, and I pray that someday we get to share this coffee in person. I'll be in touch, and I want to invite all the story warriors out there, story weavers who believe in their story, to go check out the story of Mr. Kunle Adefela and Madam Antoinette Adefela, who are doing amazing work. Go check out Guided LXP and get to know how you can take your ideas from a tiny scribbled paper into a learning platform that can change the culture of your organization and how you reach your key performance indicators. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening.
Thank
Peace.
you.
Bye.